You done with your email?
Okay.
All right, let's do this. All right, it's been a long time since we've done one of these. And
He loves me.
and
He's not
so
answering.
so the objective today is just to bring you guys up to speed on everything that's happened since we last told you what was going on. It's been a while. It's been
That's May.
May. So in May we went and visited the property.
The tree harvesting was taking place.
That's right. So it's full of trucks and tree cutting trucks and all sorts of fancy stuff. And we got to see it all, which was cool. And we got to see our property for the first time, really.
We got to see half of it decluttered.
Yeah.
If you want to, or deforested, if you want to call it that.
It was impressive. It was eye-opening and slightly shocking. There was a moment of like, oh God, what did we do?
Holy crap.
But it's par for the course. So let's talk about we flew down in May to go meet with our builders and do some final picks of finishings.
all the details. Anything you think you can put into a house or do to a house, the interior,
Like
the
knobs
exterior.
on cabinetry, like it's just every single detail.
Colors of the cabinets, the types of knobs. Do you want them small? Do you want them big? What do your bathroom fixtures look like? Do you want lights? Do you want pendant lights over your counters? Do you want, what flooring? What color flooring? Tile, rug, paint colors. I could go on forever. It was like, we thought it was going to be easy. We were there like, yeah, well, we know what we like. We'll in and out, 10 minutes.
We knew. We even tend to know the palette that we like. Look, the palette, gray.
That's our palette.
Grays and blues and pops of reds. That's our palette. And we went there. We thought we knew it all. And then we got there and we looked around and we were like,
well, let's just say they had a showroom and we were in a particular price category, and honestly, our price category was higher than we had upgraded everything from the base, the package that kind of came with it. And we knew we were going to go with the next level up. So that was part of our price. And that's what we were going in thinking we were going to pick from. Well, of course, our taste is typical. We went in there and we're like, yeah, but we like that one over there. And of course, the woman who's helping us went, well,
that's not in your package.
You have to upgrade one more level. And we're like, what? So everything, probably 90% of everything that we got was on the next level up.
It's like buying a car and the whole undercoating thing. It's like when you buy a car,
Right, you get the low end and then you get the high end. And of course, all the cool stuff's in the high end.
But the nice stuff's in the high end. And you just, anyways, you make choices. So we made choices on that trip.
Yeah.
But I think the more important things are we got to visit the property. We got to spend time on it. We got to walk around the property. And if you watch the last episode, the interlude, you got to see us walking around the property.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's big.
It's big.
We're going to go back in October for a week this time. But on this trip, there was trees everywhere. They were still working on it all.
Yeah, so we couldn't really do anything.
So we were limited. But
this is going to be a working trip.
Next trip is going to be a lot busier. So what shocked you the most about the property when you saw it?
How sloped it was?
Yeah.
It is definitely more. I mean, we knew it was sloped, and you could tell from the topology graphs and all of that. But I don't think, and we walked it many, many times, right? But I think visually, we didn't really have a good sense of just how sloped it was, and going that way and going that way. It was
it's definitely a wonky piece of property.
wonky is a good word for it.
Yeah. And it's sloped not in a nice southern manner. It's sort of sloped southeast, and then there's little divots and ravines and like little things here and there, and it's not going to be an easy piece of land to develop.
No, it's definitely going to take some work.
So I get to buy a tractor just so we can do things.
He's looking forward to buying big toys, right? Like a typical guy, right? He wants his big toys, so he's going to get a big toy to play with. So yeah, and then lots of we have a lot of red clay. The land is all red clay.
Yeah.
And so it's going to take a lot of work to make it usable
for agriculture purposes,
for gardens and trees and all that stuff. So there's a lot of work to do. There's going to be a lot of landscaping to do. Some of it we'll just leave alone, but there's at least the goal in the next 1 to 3 years is to develop at least the first 3 acres where our house is going to be.
Yeah. Well, we're calling Zone 1. It's the house and the immediate surroundings where the chickens are going to go, the front yardage, and some backyard development.
Yes, greenhouses, vegetable gardens, flower beds, things like that. So I mean, again, there's just the things that we need closest to the house, and then we'll just kind of inch our way down.
Yeah,
I get to it.
I think it was good, and I think on the next trip it's going to be a lot. The shock's not going to be there. We've seen the property. We've plenty of videos. We've gone through the videos many times. I think the drone footage helped a lot, and being able to remember what we saw.
So now it's just kind of getting things down there, things that we have here in Massachusetts. I have a lot of plants and things that I want to transport down there, get them kind of settled in the fall so that they start growing in the spring. Our intention is to move next spring, early summer. So a lot of stuff needs to move, and want to just get stuff down there and in there, and so that we have stuff.
The stuff that, anyways,
we don't need.
The stuff we don't need here.
Yeah.
Little by little, we're going to make a few more trips down before we move. But this next one is really about your October planting
fall planting
of certain plants that you're going to be transplanting from here.
Right. Yep.
So that should be fun. And so let's talk about. So that was the visit. Now, what have we done since the visit? Like, it's May, we're now in August, so it's been a long time.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of planning and working with our builder. There's been a lot of tedious details to work through. The design plan, getting through those revisions, signing off on those revisions. Talking about the complications of some of the things that we want, and it's just taking a long time. And we don't have the best. He's not even a project manager. He's a sales guy.
He's a sales guy who's kind of holding it together.
He's our coordinator. I use that term lightly.
Yeah, he doesn't have the fire that I'm used to seeing in project managers, but.
Yeah, it's basically a hurry up and wait, and we're project people, and we've got we knew we had a timeline, and it just seems like, oh, when we get to it. So like I'm an annoying person sometimes, and I'm just constantly on them asking, what's the update? What's the status? Did you think of this? Did you think of that? I've never built a house before. We've never built a house before, so. As we kind of sit and churn on it, we're like, oh, what about this and what about that? And, the guy comes back, he's like, oh, yeah, we can do that. And, yeah. It's like, well, when were you going to mention that? So there was a lot of back and forth on that, and let's just say we're 45 days behind at this point, the schedule. We were supposed to start breaking ground next week. We are now at least 45 days from breaking ground. So we're now looking at a beginning of October start. So they'll probably be starting right when we get down there. But, some of the other stuff that, we were working on that, the guy didn't tell us I needed to go run and get was things like, because we're going to have a well and septic on the property. And he was kind of nonchalant about it. He's like, yeah, go get the permit, whatever, we'll get to it. And I kept kind of nagging him, going like, when should I do this? Like, what, I don't know, what the process is. And they're supposed to help coordinate that with us, but it was our responsibility to go get the design and then go get the health permit. So needless to say, that was a process all in and of itself. Worked with a really great gentleman who had done our perk test, who did the well and septic design, and we learned something new on septic.
Yeah. So our first thought was, we just thought because of the slope of the land, everything was kind of obvious where things were going to go.
Yep.
We were completely off.
He did it completely counterintuitive to what you would have thought. You think septic is downhill because things flow down, and and then the well would be up again, things flow down. But no, actually, he put the septic at the top in the front of the house because of the way it comes down through your house, and then it needs to go. It should go at land level. And I asked, why would you do that? And he's like, well, it'll save you a lot of money because you'd have to dig all the way into the house and run pipe all the way under the foundation, because we have a basement, under the foundation and out. And he's like, I'm trying to save you some money. I'm probably going to save you like 50 grand in moving stuff down, keeping it up. And so the only thing, if you ever put plumbing in your basement, you would need like an ejector to get it up and out, which we have in this house. And I'm like, oh, I never even thought of that. Yeah. So it was
we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but it's a minor detail, really.
Yeah, but it was very counterintuitive to, we thought he was wrong. And so we had to ask questions.
But then, his answers made a lot of sense. Yeah. And then you kind of lean and go, this guy's 35 years experience. We have 2 weeks of research on YouTube.
And then when I sent the proposal, the design out, it went to the health department. They approved it, no qualms. We got it back in like 3 days. Then I put the design out to bid for the septic people and the well people. Got back proposals. All but one came back reasonable, and within the budget we had accounted for. And nobody balked at the design. Everyone's like, yep, sure, yep, but. And I'm like, all right, well, if the people who install it didn't question the design, then who are we to question it at all?
Yeah, exactly. You'd think that if it was wrong, somebody would say, you sure you want to do it this way?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody, none of them.
None of them.
So it was interesting. It was a very interesting process, let's just say.
It's definitely a lesson learned, and I think the key lesson, above and beyond the whole septic thing, which we have no experience on, is to surround yourself with professionals that you trust. You get a vibe from people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You get a vibe from people who are just trying to crap you, and you kind of pivot from that, and you kind of surround yourself with people that you do trust.
Yeah, and just FYI for anyone out there who ever uses Facebook groups. For just to collaborate with others who are in a similar situation. I actually used a Facebook group for well and septic, people who own well and septic, and because I had questions on it, I threw the question out to this Facebook group, and people were so wonderful. They were so wonderful. They gave feedback. They pointed you in the right direction. Had people reaching out on the side. Providing advice. I actually found one of the guy we're actually going to use to do the installation that way, and he was super nice, super friendly, super helpful guy in the area. So if you ever do use Facebook, just FYI, sign up for some of these groups because some of them are but I don't even know what I was talking about. Facebook groups.
Facebook groups.
Anyway, but yeah, use them. They can be well worth it sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was my little side note. All right, what else?
All right. So we finalized the house plans. So that's just going out for
Final review. So final review, they send it out for structural review, and then it goes into the permitting queue for Nelson County. And depending on how long Nelson County takes, that'll come back, hopefully, without any issues. And then we schedule a pre-con meeting, pre-construction meeting, sorry. We basically, we signed the final contract with the final pricing, and we agreed all Mitchell's terms and conditions, and then 2 weeks later, they put the shovel in the ground.
Yeah, so then it all starts.
Hopefully.
Finally.
Finally.
I was looking back, and we visited Afton in September of last year.
Labor Day week.
And so it's going to be a year, over a year from the time we first visited the area to the time construction starts.
Well, we didn't actually purchase the land until the end of October, so it'll be almost close to a year on the nose from the time we purchased the land to the time we're going to actually put a shovel in the ground.
And depending on weather, construction should last about 6 months.
Yeah, so we're probably looking at next March or April before we actually get to move in.
And that's about it. It's pretty straightforward from this point forward.
Let's hope.
The easy part's coming up.
Let's hope. Let's hope when they start digging. Well, they're actually not digging too much. They're only kind of straight. There's actually, because we have a walkout, they only have to kind of move some dirt around. So there's not really a lot of digging. So there shouldn't be any complications, really. Hopefully.
Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be. Famous last words, as they say. It'd probably be like the worst winter ever, and like there's many snow days because, of course, in Virginia, when there's snow, nobody works.
Yes.
Nobody drives on the roads. Nobody does anything.
Yeah. So. And there's a fun little election coming in November, so again, you never know what happens.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Okay, cool. That was it. Just wanted to update everybody on where we're at. I know some people have reached out to me just to kind of say, hey, what's going on?
If you have any questions, put them in the chat. Happy to try to answer,
I respond to everything.
So again, I restate that. Put your questions in the chat and he'll answer you.
I will answer.
And unless it's something he can't answer, and then he'll ask me and then he'll answer.
Yeah. I respond to even the rude stuff.
We get rude stuff?
I get rude stuff, that's for sure. But that's okay. Everybody's allowed to express themselves.
Yeah.
Not on this channel, my personal channel.
Oh.
This channel,
this channel's perfect.
It's all good.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, so
we'll talk to you next time.
So that's it. We'll leave you guys there, and we'll
Ciao for now.
talk again in about a month. Bye.